Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be talking about how to make a transmog, and basically I'm going to give you my steps to, I think, pretty much always making a decent-ish transmog every time, and more importantly one that is of your own design and is unique. A lot of the time with transmog sets I think we end up just perusing through Google or just quickly slapping on an old tier set, but making your own unique transmog is really not that hard. The best way to do it, as far as I'm concerned, is an add-on called Mogit, so go download it and I'll have a link to that in the description. Anyway, to get started, just type in /MOGIT, and boom, Mogit appears. Now, what you want to do first is click on whichever module you want to load. So if you want mail armor, click on mail. I'm using plate now, so what we're going to do is basically click on plate and load that up. And in this video I'm going to give you my overall process, and I'll quickly build a transmog set, no guarantees on whether it will be good. So first of all, what I like to do is work out a color for my transmog set, because that really is the basis of everything else. Right now I'm going to go with something that's maybe, let's just try red or orange. And once I've selected a color, what I would need to do first is work out the shoulders. Why? Well, you see, shoulders are a very big part of World of Warcraft's art design, so I find that starting with the shoulders really does make quite a bit of sense. And I think the shoulders that I'm going to go with, if we just actually... Yeah, I think we're going to go with these shoulders here, which are the ones from Heart of Fear Heroic. I think they look really cool. Now, the way we're going to be previewing all this gear and comparing it is by selecting the bit of gear that you want, so this one, right-clicking on it, then these are the two different items, which are this model, so we just click on one of them, go to preview, and then go to new preview. This will bring up the preview bar on the right, so this allows you to pretty much just build your character. It's a bit of a dressing room in a way. Now that the shoulders are selected, the next thing that I like to do is select the chest. And the reason why I do that is because it really bulks out the color profile of your character, and it allows you to just better compare things. So then you want to go to modules, you want to go to plate, you want to go to chest, and then just start scrolling down and try to think about what you'd roughly like. And a lot of this stuff you'll find does sort of match up pretty decently. Like, for an example, this matches up well enough. But what I think I've got in mind for this is actually, because I was playing around with it earlier, the red, not Trial of the Crusader, the red Firelands stuff. So I'm just need to go a little bit back here to the Firelands gear, which I've actually went way past, which was silly of me. But yeah, I think there is probably a way of making it transmog well with this, because overall those color palettes match. So after you've done that, I recommend going for either your helm or your waist or your legs. Now, I don't really need to worry about legs too much because of what I've chosen for the chest here, but if you have legs which you think look well with the chest but are not perfectly color matched, what you can do is use a waist, like a belt, to sort of bridge the gap between the two colors. That can work very effectively. Anyway, I'm just going to quickly throw on some feet, gloves, and a belt, and then I'll come back to you when we look over the helms. Okay, so it's been about 4 minutes, and I've just quickly thrown some things in the other slots. They don't look perfect, but you know what? I think they match decently enough. I kind of like how there's two skeletons here, even though they don't really match up that well. Anyway, the final part of the actual armor for me is often the helm. Really, with the helmet, it sort of just depends when I put it on, but right now it's the last anyway. And all you want to do is just try to find something that works with the rest of the colors of your set. So just peruse your way down this and check it out. Now, generally when I'm doing transmog sets, what I like to do is ensure that things are from different sets as much as possible, because if everything's just from one set, well, you're basically just putting on a tier set, and that's not really too interesting. So for an example, this helm works quite well, but it is actually the helm that's meant to go with these shoulders, so perhaps I'll try to make something a little bit different work. Another thing that you can do is you can actually sort by a few different ways. You can do it by the approximate color of the item. I just find that this doesn't really work that well, and I prefer to just sort them by their item level. The reason why is because I just think it's easy in my head to sort of chronologically work through things. So another one with this set that could work is actually the Shadowpan helm, if you're really into the Shadowpan stuff. Maybe that would work on a panda, perhaps. What I could actually do if I wanted to see that is go on the preview here, go to race, and then see what it actually looks like on a Pandaren. And I suppose for some people that set could work pretty well with a panda, but let's just go back to a human. Anyway, I'll skip ahead to when I find the... Actually, no, I won't. I don't know why this caught my eye, but for some reason that caught my eye. Maybe if it was a bit more red. Anyway, I'll skip ahead and show you some of the helms that I think maybe would work with this set. So I suppose this helm could work for some people that like that aesthetic, but I think it is maybe a little bit too simple with the rest of the set, or maybe it just doesn't have enough scale really to work for me. Alright, so this Helm of Blazing Glory doesn't fit perfectly, but there's something about the sternness of it that I do like, and maybe that's something that somebody could make work with a set quite similar to this. As well, while we're in and around here, I don't know why that caught my eye, but anyway, what I really meant to look at was this, the Immolation Fire Guard, whatever it's called, Face Guard. This, of course, works decently well because it does fit the chest that I'm wearing, but as I said earlier, I'm going to try to make things look maybe a little bit different, so let's keep on looking. If only this Daybreaker Helm was just a different color, maybe just a few shades in a deeper red, but unfortunately it's a bit too orange. Alright, so the first helm that I think could work is actually this Dragon Steel Faceplate. It doesn't match 100% perfectly, but what I find is that the red of the belt, the gloves, the shoulders, and the helm all kind of works together. Aesthetically, it's not perfect, but I suppose you could see something between the skulls and the way that face guard actually looks, so there's definitely a possibility for this set. Another item that sort of works is this Icecrown Citadel warrior gear. I think because skulls and tusks often work together quite well, there are a bunch of different recolors of this, so maybe you just sort of take your pick, though I do think the previous choice that I had looked a little bit better. There's also this, which has sort of caught my eye, but it's too small for my liking in comparison to the scale of the shoulders. I guess there's also this skull cage of Eternal Terror, but again, it just doesn't seem to look like the colors roughly match up, but it just doesn't do it for me. Well, I think that's the rough transmog overall worked out. I think it looks okay. There's not perfect color matching between the chest and the kind of legs and how the rest of that works, so I'm going to try one little thing to see if it works. I'll be back in a second if it does. Okay, I'm back, and I found that the chest and legs from Lord Marogar actually work, and somehow I managed to wreck the boots, so let's just fix the boots. Okay, so I threw some boots in. They are from Ulduar as well, and this does mean that I think I've got 2 bits of gear that come from Ulduar, and the chest and the legs also come from Icecrown Citadel. So a few of these items are from similar-ish sets, but I think overall this is a half-unique transmog. Looks kind of cool. It'll do the job for the sake of this video. Now that a rough transmog's been made, it's time to have a look at the weapon, so I think I'll probably just give this guy a two-handed sword. There are quite a lot of two-handed swords which look good in the game. For some reason I like the look of this burning one here, but the aesthetic doesn't 100% match up. Another one that I don't know why I like the look of it with I think it's just the 2 reds that work, but maybe that would work if you were, say, a Blood Death Knight. Yeah, that could be a Blood Death Knight transmog right there. And despite the fact that I am actually doing this stuff on a Paladin character, but it's not like that matters. This sword goes with a lot of things that are fiery, but it's just, like, it's orange, and this is a red set, and those two don't work too well. Reclaimed Ash Candy sort of works. You could do that, maybe put a nice enchantment transmog on it to make the enchantment look good. There really is a lot that you can do with weapons, I find, because, well, so many of the weapons in this game just look really, really bloody cool. And for an example, this here could work, sort of. It's perhaps a bit too dark to look super interesting, though. If you wanted something a bit shiny, I suppose the Gladiator's Greatsword, it works in a way that I think shiny weapons tend to. This weapon here, that doesn't really look too good. Though, actually, there is a high-res version of that coming out with patch 6.2. I suppose the original Ash Candy sort of works, but it's just so low-res that I wouldn't really go for it. You could say that red one works as well. It does have a nice rich red in the middle, but I think for the sake of this video... the Fel Iron Greatsword. Nah, not really feeling it. Let's just go with that Gladiator's Greatsword and call the day with this transmog roughly. Now, that transmog was all done in the span of this video, which unedited is probably like 15 to 20 minutes, and I'm not very good at transmogging, but I think this is a good process that would work for everyone, and if you're more creative than me, which there's a good chance you are, So to conclude, the process is select a color, then select shoulders, select a chest, then try to work out your other slots, including your helm, and once you get a rough color match between all of them, what I then recommend doing is perhaps going back, looking at some of the shoulders and seeing if there's anything that fits your overall aesthetic a bit better. But once you've got that solidified, look at your weapon, and just go on your little thing, hit save, and then save it as a new name, and there you go, that's your Transmog set saved. Just open up the preview and then look at the various items to see where you can actually get them from in instances. I'm actually going to save this set because maybe I'll work on it someday, so I'll just call this perhaps Red Blood DK? Yeah, we'll call it that. If I could even spell. Oh, it's far too late at night to be recording. Despite the fact it does look nice and bright outside, it is like 12:50 according to the in-game clock. So that's a rough set there. I did make one really stupid one earlier that I'm just going to show you for the sake of how stupid it looks. This, I just decided to go crazy with green things, so I just thought, screw it, let's make something really, really gaudy. And that's what that turned into. And then I do have this Fire DK one, which I think looks pretty cool, but can be tweaked up. What's different about this, by the way, is I am using that chest from Mother Shiraz, or whatever it is, from BT, and an offset kind of set of legs that I think actually goes really well with those shoulders and helm. But anyway, that's roughly it for the Transmog stuff, and that's my process, essentially. Hopefully it works for you, and if you do end up making some cool stuff, be sure to share it down in the comments. Anyway, that is it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching the video. I do hope you found it useful, and I will see you next time.